The City of Palo Alto's Human Relations Commission special meeting of Thursday, April 27th. I'm Adriana Eberly, and I'm the vice chair of the commission, and I'll be presiding this evening. So I am first going to call the meeting to order. Elena, will you please call roll call?
Vice Chair Eberly.
Here.
Commissioner Kraus.
Here.
Commissioner Savage.
Here.
Chair Smith. Absent.
Thank you so much. Now we're going to go ahead and open it for any public comment.
So for the folks listening from home, just to let you know, we're having a little computer. Aha, Aaron, can you hear me now? Okay, you have 3 minutes and I will allow you to talk, and go ahead, please.
So good afternoon. Let's I really wanted to do talk about a March 3rd article in the Daily Post that says police chief, and this is in this case referring to Andrew Binder, to hold off naming assistant chiefs. And later on in the article, he indicates the 3 captains that are potentials to be appointed as the next assistant chief are April Wagner, James Reifschneider, and Zach Perone. Now, we've talked about Zach Perone, as far as I know, has never been disciplined for his use of the N-word, openly used against another employee who at that time was employed by the police department, happened to be African American, and his name is Marcus Barbour. He's now with the sheriff's office. So I'm stunned to think that, that kind of culture may potentially be, and when I say that kind of culture, a police culture that tolerates racism in their ranks openly. And we know about the Antioch scandal and many other racist text message scandals, and just the culture of policing. The great bulk of the police that I've encountered in my career as a public defender are, direct descendants, so to speak, DNA tested to be descendants of the slave catchers. And that conversation and that culture continues, whatever you want to say. The research bears that out. But for Andrew Binder to be considering Zach Perone, who's never apologized for his comments, never come out to the public and said, I shouldn't have done that. It was awful. It was terrible. And now they're talking about potentially promoting him to assistant chief. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope people are as outraged as I am. We still don't know what's happening with the what I call the BLM Mural 6, the 6 police officers that embarrassed the city of Palo Alto all the way to the Washington Post for suing the city for allowing the beautiful Black Lives Matter mural. We still have an all-white command staff in the police department. And in May, there's going to be the second release of information on the Palo Alto Police Department regarding RIPA data, Racial Identifying Profile Act, Identity Profiling Act. The last time, Janani Shanir did a very extensive piece that I believe I've sent to you, showing that Palo Alto, the police department, continues with its historic racially discriminatory policing on many, many counts. And Binder, when asked to comment on the data, it's just a snapshot in time. He wouldn't comment on the substance of it. But that's Binder, who was hired, as you know, with a closed door so-called blue ribbon committee. Thank you very much. Have a one.
Hold on a minute. Okay. Go ahead, Chair. I'm sorry. I was just ensuring that I'd done something correctly. There are no other raised hands.
Thank you. Okay, now we move on to agenda changes, additions, and deletions. Do any of the commissioners have anything to add or delete from the agenda? No. Okay, thank you. Now we need to approve the minutes from March 16.
I, oh,
I approve the
and I
minutes.
second.
Well, can we have a motion? We need a motion and then to second it.
I move that we approve the minutes of March 16th.
And I second.
Do we need to have the motion on the screen or is that not going to happen tonight?
Is that not happening?
I don't think that's going to happen tonight. It's not
Okay.
technically a requirement.
Okay.
It's just helpful when we're trying to ensure that staff has the clarity.
Mhm.
But if you'd like Elena to reread it, she'd be happy to do so.
Think this one is easy, so we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
So Commissioner Savage moved to approve the minutes, second by Commissioner Kraus. We're going to go ahead and take a vote now. Commissioner Kraus,
Aye.
Commissioner Savage,
Aye.
Vice Chair Eberly, aye. The motion passes. Thank you. Now we go to our first order of business. Minka, are you going to do an introduction or am I?
It was gonna be you.
Okay, no problem. No problem. So we were approached by the city. So back in February, the commission voted on several rental protections or that we were recommending to city council. And the city came back to us wanting to clarification on recommendation number 6. Commissioner Kraus and I were the ad hoc committee for the rental report. We talked about it. We went back to the actual city ordinance. And then we decided that in order to clarify, we would just mirror the ordinance that's already in the books. So in order to do that, one second. We decided that we would just delete the statement "not owned by corporations" from the recommendation. And we are bringing it back to our commission to vote on striking that language. So that it would just be that we recommend the council to expand the citywide relocation assistance to multi-unit buildings with less than 10 units, not including duplexes where 1 unit is owner occupied. Oh, thank you. I am going to open it for questions if either of the commissioners has any questions.
No, you and I discussed this in great detail. So I have no questions.
Thank you. So we can go ahead and open it for public comment.
So if any member of the public has a comment regarding the correction to the rental protection recommendation number 6, please raise your hand. No hands, Chair.
Thank you. Okay. Would one of the commissioners like to make a motion to
I
approve the
can make,
correction?
I can make the motion. Commissioner Kraus moves to approve the correction of the rental protection recommendations number 6, passed on February 9th, 2023, to read as follows. Council to expand the citywide relocation assistance to multi-unit buildings with less than 10 units, not including duplexes where 1 unit is owner occupied.
I second.
Thank you. Commissioner Savage seconds it. Let's take a vote. Commissioner Kraus,
Aye.
Commissioner Savage,
Aye.
Vice Chair Eberly, aye. The motion passes. Should just be, oh, never mind. Okay, so Going along to the next order of business. Commissioner Krause, would you like to introduce it?
I would.
Thank you.
After much deliberation of the city budget and potentially an increase to the HISREP, we recommend and later were approved by council. We have a contingency plan depending upon how much the budget is increased. So for us, the steps were, we considered the increase of many current HESREP grantees, moving them up to the level they're getting in fiscal year '23 or asked for in fiscal '24 if that funding amount was not yet allocated to the original vote. Number two, we added an allocation to two of the applicants who did not get funding recommendations in the original vote. And I would suggest a change, but should I go through all three first? Okay. And third, we added additional funding to new applicants or current grantees that submitted well-written applications. They were crafted well, meeting a critical need, but still not up to the requested amount. And then some applicants and current grantees got a substantial increase in the original vote, were kept at the same level, at least in the scenario of 100,000. Now, it's very complicated, and our matrix looks like this, and maybe you want to put it up on the screen, or should I speak to it? Staff. Good.
Right, so yeah, it was included in the staff report, so members of the public can have access to it, but Elena can certainly put it on. And just for clarity for those listening from home, this is a contingency plan. If the council, during the finance committee meetings and later approved by the full council, if they make a decision to add funding for HISREP, they have done so at points in the past. We have not been given any information regarding this. So this is just backup planning in case, so that it could come before you very soon after this body reviewed and had deliberations for the original recommendation that went to, that is in the budget book that is going to council.
That's right. And that was the original sum granted of $622,376. Now, we've made contingencies if we are granted additional monies, 100,000 or 200,000. If it's more than that, we will gratefully do another scenario that changes the sums. So we wait to hear about it. And these are the kinds of numbers we're speaking to, given the kind of criteria we established. There's only one change that
I would suggest, I'm sorry to
What?
interrupt you, commissioners, but I would have folks ask questions and then go to
Sure.
the public. And then if you have a change, you can make it during that last point and bring it before your fellow
Absolutely.
commissioners.
We can do that. So let's turn it over to questions.
Do you have any questions?
No
Commissioner
questions from
Savage?
me.
I have a question. So the amount under proposed contingency additional 100,000,
Yes,
is this, for example, Life Moves? looks like the recommendation was 78,959. And now the contingency, 92,893. Does that mean that instead of 78,959, they would get the full amount that they had asked for, which is 92,893?
What we did under the criteria, the number one, is that we went back to the fiscal grant that was requested in 24 and 25, and we increased it to 92,893 by the criteria of fiscal year 24 and fiscal year 25 request.
So,
There are many matrices that at least there are four that add, that make the decisions underlying what we did.
so they would get a total of 92,893.
That's correct.
Okay. And then can you explain how come they're getting extra money, but for example, Peninsula Healthcare Connection, who asked for 61,887, is not getting any extra?
It was a criteria based upon the submission of the application and the work and the amount of Palo Altoans that were included. It's very complicated. We
yeah.
tried to have a methodology, the best we could to make these heartbreaking decisions.
So I would say, as someone who listened in on the deliberations, that Peninsula Healthcare Connections fit in with number 4, that said some applicants and current grantees got a substantial increase in the original vote and were kept at that same level, at least in the $100,000 range. So that would be, if you're looking for which one of the rationales would be attached
Apply.
to that organization, that would be the one that the committee discussed in their deliberations.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions.
Okay.
We can go ahead and open it for public comments, please.
Okay. So members of the public, please raise your hand if you are interested in speaking or if you are in person. And let's see, I don't have any hands raised online. I will go back and look at that. I see one. So we will go to Maura first. And then we will go to Teresa at the Health Trust, followed by Georgia Basil at Sala. So why don't you wait till Elena gets, okay, Elena's ready.
Thank you. Good evening, commissioners. Good evening, Minka. Good evening, Alana. Thank you so much for all that you all have done. I'm here to thank you for your proactively sharing recommendations for the contingency plan that there may be more funding. It makes our work as the public a lot, it supports our work to advocate for more investment in our nonprofits that can support the fabric of Palo Alto. So I really, really appreciate all the hard work that you've put into this. I know it wasn't easy, and I appreciate you putting this plan together. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so then I will go to the hands online. The first one is Teresa from the Health Trust. Teresa, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Hi, thank you, members of the commission and staff. My name is Teresa Johnson, and I am the Director of Food and Nutrition at the Health Trust, which includes our Meals on Wheels program. We want to thank you for the opportunity to speak and for your past support. We really appreciate the hard work that you, as the commission and the staff, put into these recommendations. I want to quickly share a story because I always run out of time at the end. Lily is one of your Palo Alto residents. She's 92 years old. She lives alone, and her income is $1,050 per month. She's legally blind. She has severe osteoporosis. And she says, I'm very, very thankful for the meals. I don't know what I would do without them. They are a big help. When Lily's circumstances were better, she said, I always made a small donation to Meals on Wheels, and now here I am receiving the service myself. She enjoys speaking with our staff and notes that they are always very helpful. I love the meals. It's like getting a home-cooked meal every day. On her birthday, Lily received a handmade lap blanket from our volunteers, and she received a holiday gift since she lives alone. I was like a little kid at Disneyland, she said after opening her gift. Since the beginning of the pandemic, we have more than tripled the number of clients and home delivered meals that we've served, and we expect to serve 350,000 meals countywide in fiscal year 24. Your contribution is really critical to us because what we do is we leverage your contributions to raise the other needed dollars through donations and grants. Your funds will assist us in providing seniors in Palo Alto with home-delivered, home-cooked meals. We are not requesting funding for staff or overhead, and we will use your grant to cover the cost of the meals. Last year, we provided about 6,500 meals in Palo Alto, and we expect that number to be the same or higher in fiscal year 23. And your funding is going to help us serve over 2,300 meals. And these seniors, remember, cannot easily access food from other places such as congregate sites or food baskets. We provide more than a meal. We do wellness checks for our clients. We have a senior socialization program where they can get home visits and weekly phone calls. Again, thank you so much for your support, and we really appreciate the work that you put in to these recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
The next speaker is Georgia Basil. Georgia, go ahead, please.
Good evening. I'm Georgia Basile, Directing Attorney of Senior Adults Legal Assistance. You also know us as SALA. We're a nonprofit law office that provides free legal services to Palo Alto residents 60 or older, targeting clients that are low income or at risk of abuse or loss of independence. Our current HISRAP funding supports expanded availability of our services to Palo Alto seniors, and we sincerely thank you. We also want to thank the Commission for considering the proposed contingency plans for additional funding for HISRAP next year. Under the Older Americans Act, our largest funder, we can't charge fees for services or accept fee-generating cases. The primary way we support our services is through grants like HISRAP. We're currently recommended to receive $16,530. We're very thankful for that recommendation, but it does represent a 20% reduction in our current funding from HISRAP and a corresponding reduction in our staffing and services for next year. Under the $100,000 contingency, we would receive our current funding, which we would be grateful for. Under the $200,000 contingency plan, we would receive the full funding we requested. So needless to say, your funding and the contingency plan that may be approved by the council will help us provide the highest level of service possible. That said, we appreciate any funding that we receive from Palo Alto, and I hope we can count on your support again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Georgia. So
Thank you.
Are there any other participants that would like to speak? Please raise your hand now. Okay. Mary Jane, go ahead, please. Go ahead, Mary Jane. You're kind of going in and out, Mary Jane. Can you,
Let me see if you can, but can move a little bit, but is that any better or?
yes, yes, that is better right now.
Oh, okay. I just want to thank, my name is Mary Jane Moutsanis. I'm in Palo Alto a long time and have a nonprofit, and just really appreciate everything HSRAP's done, and know Minka and everyone. And I don't know all the details because I'm coming in a little late right now, but I just wanted to say that, like, let's just in the future, like, let's really challenge the city council and the city of Palo Alto. Let's go big. Let's not fight over kind of a little bit of money, or not fight, but it's hard because we really need this safety net here, and people feel like COVID's over. But actually the support that people got during COVID, they really need it. They've always needed that, actually, and we need it even more. So we just spent 120 million on a police building. So I'm here to support getting a lot more funding for all the community groups here. So whatever I can do to help you guys, let me know, because I hope that we don't have to choose between really worthy causes in the future. But thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Okay, so the folks on Zoom, this is your last chance. So if you want to speak, please raise your hand. I see no additional hands, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Minka. Can go ahead and start the discussion on the topic, and Commissioner Kraus, sounded like you had some changes.
Yes, well, one significant change. On item number 2, we added an allocation for 2 of the applicants who did not get funding, a funding recommendation in the original vote. And I would like to suggest that we add an additional $4,000 to Ada's Cafe allocation, bringing them up to 10,000. We will appropriately take 1,000 from some of our larger allocations, and if indeed necessary, from Life Moves. The rationale behind this is that Ada's Cafe, and we've heard feedback, is really a beacon for the disabled in the community. It is something we'd like to point to. It's something we'd like to have be vibrant. And we want to work with them closely to make this a success for them. And I'm asking my fellow commissioners to consider evening it out at 10K, because that will give them some of the monies that they requested and at least a chance to reach some success. And if you look at the other disabled applications, we cannot take from them because ability path, because there's not enough there. And then some of the larger grants, such as Life Moves, we can whittle a little bit more for Ada's Cafe. Okay, and I'd like you to consider that.
So just to clarify, is your recommendation to take 4,000 out of Life Moves?
Or another large allocation, but I think Life Moves, yes.
That is the largest one.
That's
So
the
I've made a
largest.
check mark on each of the 4 largest, if you'd like me to
Please.
read that off, since I did that while you were speaking. So the 4 largest grantees at this point are Ability Path at 56,140, Life Moves at 78,959, Ravenswood Family Health Network at 4570, and let me just make sure that I got this right. No. And the Outlet at 42,500.
Well, La Comida is 47,000.
Oh, did I miss one?
Yes.
Thank you. So La Comida, it would be La Comida. So if you're going the top ones again, it would be Ability Path, La Comida, Life Moves, and Ravenswood. If
And Life Moves is double what most of the other front runners are, correct?
correct, they received a reduction from what their current allocation is by
95.
14,000. So just
No,
they are currently receiving 92. Wait,
No, they-
95.
They requested 95.
92, and the
Right.
current, what's already been approved by the HRC as a recommendation is 78.
So they're requesting 92,893.
And they received, as a current recommendation going forward to the council, it's 78,959.
Correct. But since we're working with the contingency numbers, it would be out of the 92,893.
You were absolutely right. Thank you for pointing that out
That's
to me.
correct.
So, go ahead.
No, go ahead,
All
Commissioner
right.
Savage.
So I agree with Commissioner Kraus. Ada's Cafe provides a tremendous benefit to the community. And I'm very much would like to add 4,000. However, I have another option. What about just deducting 1,000 from each of the top 4 agencies?
We could do that. I would be agreeable to that.
So theoretically, you can make, if you're just at the discussion stage, but if you're at the motion stage, then you have a suggestion to take from Life Moves, and yours would have been a friendly amendment, but it seems like you're a little discussing it, but just to let you know if it gets to the next step.
Yes, I think we're just discussing it at this time.
Right.
So that if we were to do that, it would be 1,000 from Life Moves, 1,000 from
La Comida,
La Comida, 1,000 from Ravenswood,
and 1,000 from We Hope.
no, from Vista Center. Oh, no,
Oh,
1,000 from Adolescents Counseling Services Outlet. Does that make sense? No, sorry. I take that back. We would be 1,000 from Life Moves, 1,000 from Ability Path.
1,000, yeah.
Sorry, 1,000 from La Comida and 1,000 from Ravenswood.
That's it.
Hopefully somebody wrote that down.
yes.
And I agree with that. I think it makes it a little bit more fair because Life Moves is
I
not even
agree.
under the contingency plan. Well, never mind. Under the contingency plan, they are getting what they were asking for, but all of
Correct.
these,
I
Wow.
think it would be fair to spread it around. And I take that as a recommendation as we discussed, and it's friendly and it's acceptable.
and I agree with all the comments about Ada's Cafe. I know I personally have a child that goes to JLS, and Ada's Cafe hosts lots of coffees for parents. And during COVID, when parents were not allowed to go to the schools, people congregated at Ada's Cafe, and it's one of the few places where kids and parents in South Palo Alto can go and enjoy a treat while they go to the library, the community center, and the park. So it is vital to that part of town as well. So I agree with raising the amount. And if we don't have any more discussion, maybe we're ready to,
So let's
Make a
have
motion.
Elena share her screen so she can ensure that she got your wishes correctly.
Thank you.
it looks good to me.
Should we add wording that says to the top nonprofit allocations, which is why we're choosing them?
I think that'd be a good idea for someone that read it and wasn't present for the
Yes.
conversation.
Yeah, please.
Commissioner Kraus, is this going to be your motion? So
Yes,
maybe you
ma'am.
can
Yes.
help with the language.
Thank you, Elena. Colon.
Yeah, any help here? 100 for each of the top four.
Okay,
Maybe for each of the,
top four allocation, nonprofit allocations.
Highest?
from each of the organizations receiving the top 4 funding recommendation or something like that.
Maybe we say largest instead of top. Largest amount.
That's,
And then I would do a colon and then,
Sorry, what was the word you used, Commissioner Savage?
I'm sorry?
The word you used?
The largest,
Largest, thank you.
largest amount of funding.
say recommended funding.
Recommended funding, yeah.
and I really want a colon there. Add funding colon, ability
Yes.
path, La Comida, Life Moves, Ravenswood Health Network. For both the 1,000 and 200,000 contingency proposed plans. Okay. Yep.
I'm just looking at this. Contingency plan in the case of an additional funding increase. I wanted to make it sound like possible, seems like it's already, like, they've already discussed it, but they haven't decided. And in the case of, I'm not sure if I know for several of you, languages,
It's really important.
is really important. And I'm just wanting someone, I don't want a member of council to read this and say, wait a minute, we didn't make any decision yet. And just make it clear that the commission knows that this is only in the case.
Yeah. Well, how about using the word pending? Pending.
Oh, no, pending is, I think pending would feel, pending would feel like it is, like they're just
Okay.
in the point of deciding it. Right now it does say. In the event that, I like that. Oh, I think that's from the, yes, that's from the agenda.
I'm wondering if I should add in for both the 100,000 and 200,000 proposed contingency plans, just to make sure that we know that it is for both.
First, I think we need a colon after following exceptions.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Semicolon.
I think just a full on colon.
Oh, yeah, here, right? Okay, I'll put the colon back.
Sorry. After, with the following exceptions, colon.
Oh,
I'd like to see the numeral 1 and the numeral 2 instead of written out. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. It'll be easier. Yeah. And the decrease. And, all right, I'll wait till you're there. At the end of the second amount of recommended funding in number 2, I want to see a colon there. Not a semicolon.
Sorry, where?
On line 2 of number 2. Line 2, number 2 there. Okay.
If the commission is acceptable to, I'd like to make the following change. Where it says reviewers for the HISRAP contingency plan, I'd like to move what we have in number 1, in the event that additional funding are approved by city council, and just say the possible fund increase, I would say reviewers for the human services resource allocation process contingency plan in the case that in the event that additional funds are approved by the city council for fiscal year 24. And then take it out of number 1 and just put increase the allocation to ADAS to $10,000 for both the $100,000 and $200,000 proposed contingency plans. Does that work?
It's cleaner.
Sorry, did I miss any other changes?
The before city council.
For number 2, do you want to indicate that you're decreasing those agencies in order to get the money for ADAS?
Oh, yes.
Isn't that,
Yeah, I'm just asking if you think it's implied, if someone who was not here would read that and realize they cut. Because it doesn't say anything in number 1 that you were trying to get
Okay.
$4,000.
So number 2, could we say to accommodate this additional monies, comma, decrease the allocation and go from there? So as number 2 begins, we can say to accommodate in order to accommodate the additional $4,000.
well, I think you need to explain that in number 1. So if that could say increase the allocation from 6,000 to 10,000.
On number 1.
Yeah, increase the allocation to ADAS Cafe from 6,000 to 10,000.
in order to accommodate, comma, the additional funding, we recommend, it is recommended. Yeah, wrong comma. Thank you.
Sorry, continue in order to accommodate.
In order to take the comma off, out of there, accommodate the, that. But we, to accommodate the additional $4,000 of funding, we recommend a decreasing the allocations by 1,000 of each of the organizations receiving the largest amount of recommended funding,
Oh, and then I'll take off.
period.
Colon.
Should you put in order to accommodate the additional 4,000 of recommended funding to ADAS?
Sure.
Because you're not the final decision maker.
We recommend decreasing
Yeah.
the allocations. We recommend decreasing the recommended allocations
You got two recommendeds in a
by
row.
That's a lot of
1,000 for
recommended.
each of the organizations receiving the largest amounts. And then take that part off. Yes, that's cleaner, I think. Are you okay with this?
Well, you got a bunch of recommendeds. I don't think you need all those. In order to accommodate the additional 4,000 of recommended funding to ADAS Cafe, we suggest decreasing
Okay,
the allocations by 1,000.
I think that's good.
I don't think we're presupposing anything with the language.
I agree.
I applaud you for the specificity because I think that will be helpful.
Look, if we're able to gain additional funding, we'll do whatever we need to in specificity.
Okay. All right, are we ready to make the motion?
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Krause,
Should I read it in again?
I believe so,
Okay.
and move. And then I'll ask for a second.
I move to affirm the recommendations made by the reviewers for the Human Services Research Allocation Process, paren, HESRAC, end paren, contingency plan, in the event that additional funds are approved by City Council for fiscal year 2024, with the following exceptions. Number one, increase the allocation to ADAS Cafe from 6,000 to 10,000 for both the 100,000 and 200,000 proposed contingency plans. Two, in order to accommodate the additional 4,000 of recommended funding to ADAS Cafe, we suggest decreasing the allocations by 1,000 for each of the organizations receiving the largest amounts. Ability Path, La Comida, Life Moves, and Ravenswood Family and Health Network for both 100,000 and 200,000 proposed contingency plans. Why don't we say a closing sentence? In the event that more monies are available, we will surely be able to accommodate such, period.
Sorry, we will be able to?
We will be able to accommodate such.
Is that last line really necessary?
Do we not say that?
I think we're good without it.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
redundant.
I'm fine.
And then it's cleaner. Okay, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, Commissioner Savage seconds it. I'm gonna take a vote. Commissioner Kraus,
Aye.
Commissioner Savage,
Aye.
Vice Chair Eberly, aye. The motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for all the work on the language. Hopefully, council will have no questions as to what we intended. Our next order of business, the most fun order business today, Islander Lived Experience Survey. This is another referral from council. And Minka and Elena had been working with Chair Smith and Commissioner Navachoke. Commissioner Navachoke is no longer with us, or her term is ending very shortly.
It ended at the end of March.
Okay, so yeah, so she's no longer with us, so I am stepping in to help and be part of this committee. And Commissioner should have received the survey and a copy of the flyer.
So
Yeah.
I can send it out as we speak. I have it in my draft
Okay.
folder. I was going to send it out after the conversation so you could introduce it, but I'm happy to send it now.
Okay, thank you. Well, the commission is aware, I can't remember, Minka, help me, when, this was almost a year ago now?
It's been a while.
Yeah, that it was referred to us. Basically, council referred to the Human Relations Commission. They would like a report, some kind of study. They want to know about the lived experience of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islanders here in Palo Alto. So an ad hoc committee was formed. They discussed it and decided that the best way to do it, which would be to publish a survey and try to get as many people to respond to the survey. And then with those results, the commission will then create a report, maybe something else to go along with it, and then present to city council. So I was not one of the people that came up with the survey questions. That was Commissioner Navachoke with Chair Smith, but they did a great job, and we do have a survey. And last meeting, we decided to delay, the push to getting people to answer the call of the survey until next month, which is Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander month. So I'm excited to share with you the survey. Can we put it up?
Yes.
Thank you. And so there is a website that people can go to and respond to the survey. And part of our outreach is going to be putting flyers with a QR code that also allows people all over town to answer the survey. And the survey is very simple, but because we wanted it, I think the thought behind it was to keep it kind of open-ended to see what people, what's on their minds. As you can see, should I go over the questions or people can see it? We're getting some demographical data on it, and then it's pretty much open-ended in a way that people can really let us know what their thoughts are about their experience living here, working here, worshiping in Palo Alto. And it also allows for additional comments. So we're excited to see what people say and how many of these surveys get turned in. And Elena, if you can please put up the flyer. Thank you for creating the flyer. I think it's really nice, springy, and I know it reminds me of Hawaii, but so these flyers are going to go around town to the libraries. I would love to get the schools involved. I would love for us to have a plan to reach all different age groups and demographics, and just honestly get as many people to respond to the survey as possible. So in order to do that, I would love to get a commitment from the commissioners here and hopefully the commissioners that will be joining our commission soon to reach out to 10, either organizations or people by the end of the month, so that if each person reaches out to 10 points of contact, then we have a good starting point for the survey.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable request.
I think it can be done. And I'd like to add to your library of resources. A study was released today by one of the nonprofits that I will recontact, called Committee of 100. They are a membership organizations of some of the most prominent Chinese Americans in this country. They talk to 6,500 people, and they have a report that's the state of Chinese Americans. It's demographically diverse, it's politically diverse. It talks about cultural identity, health, economic security, and social engagement. And I have a copy that I can forward to you or turn into the record right now.
If you have an electronic copy, that would
I
be
will do
wonderful.
that.
Then I can include it in the folder that we are
Right.
collecting the information for
And
this.
this is
project.
primarily an older population of Chinese prominence. Okay?
Is it California? Is it,
It's the country.
okay, so we
And
can
they
look
did
at what we
60,
hear locally and then compare it
Right.
against a larger construct.
Exactly. Gives us a place to look for foundational infrastructure to what we're doing.
Mhm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
The only other thing I want to say before we open it up to public comments, unless Commissioner Savage has something else to say, we'll have another chance to discuss after, is that we have a Google Doc that we will share with everybody on the commission so that as soon as somebody reaches out to a group or a person, we can fill out. That will be just for us within the commission. So we are not reaching out to the same people over and over again. That way we'll keep track of who's getting.
Um, And there are suggestions, if you say to
Yes.
yourself, oh my gosh, 10 people, but look at the Google Doc, so there's actual individuals on the Google Doc or organizations, and it allows you, the Google Doc is what I just emailed you, allows you to put your name next to it, and then below it, it just gives suggestions of other, like, categories of people. Thank you. So the Google Doc includes individuals to reach out to, but it also includes categories of ways to outreach, but I couldn't think of specific individuals or organizations. But I thought, given the commission, it would be, easier. I put like restaurants, AANHPI related restaurants. And if you knew any and you could, go and speak to the owner and say, hey, you know, we'd love to have you and your staff come complete this survey. So, but I just couldn't think of what they were.
Minka, would it be possible for us to get some of the flyers from you and then,
I have 30
Excellent.
copies of the flyer here. I'll have you divide them between the three of you. When
Okay.
you need more, Elaine and I can get them to you on Monday.
okay, great.
Okay. or
Bringing
can
it to the
you-
choir concert
The
tomorrow
flyer is
at
also
Pac.
attached to the email that I just sent you.
Perfect. And I just forwarded the survey.
Thank you,
From the
Commissioner.
committee of 100.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's, unless there's any other comments right now, let's open it for public comment, please.
Yes, we have one public. I'm really bad with that microphone tonight. We have one public comment. Kat, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead, please.
Hi, yeah, I was just thinking about the outreach earlier, and I know that since it's AAPI Heritage Month this coming month, I actually asked the Community Services Department if there were any AAPI events, and it's not on the public calendar yet, but I think they're still finalizing it. So maybe Lady Minka might be able to tell you what they're working on, and you can kind of contact them about maybe getting some of these flyers out to their events. And I really like the idea of the restaurants, and I want to also include maybe there aren't really any Asian grocery stores in Palo Alto. I wonder if you might go to like Mountain View or Sunnyvale and see if you
Yeah.
could talk to any of those grocery stores out there and see if maybe you could put flyers up there. That's just a couple of ideas of outreach. So yeah, I'm excited to see what happens, and good luck.
Thank you, Kat.
Thank you.
So Elena, have we attached this to our website yet? Or are we still waiting for that? Okay, so the flyer is also attached, but it takes a few days in the city system to get approved to be available there. So I would have you also, you can refer people to the flyer there. I'd also, Kat, if you have time and you want to help with outreach, this is open to any member of the public that sees this information and can just refer folks to the website, give them a flyer, send suggestions to us. We will definitely, as staff, be working to get the word out on any city-sponsored event.
Thank you, Minka. All right. I feel like our questions in the beginning ended up being a discussion. Does anybody have anything else to say on this topic? We're all united on getting the word out. Great. Okay. Any commissioner reports?
On renter protections, I was delighted to hear some of the candidates that interviewed on Monday. And Minka, thank you for that link. Really talk of the importance to the future of the city in terms of renter protections. They're really on top of it, the younger members who applied, because it is their reality. So I am overjoyed that we'll have more support as we continue forward.
Thank you.
Hezra, you've heard everything. And Daryl, is there anything that we should share? I don't think so, on the policing. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Kraus. I'm excited to see, yeah, who the new members are. So now,
One
yes, go
thing.
ahead.
I'd like to make people aware that the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, has come out with their 2022 report on the rise of hate. and anti-Semitism. It's available online at adl.org. And I would ask people to take a look at it. The numbers are startling. They're doubling year to year since 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we don't have our council liaison here today, so staff liaison report, Minka, anything from you?
The only thing I would add is for the interviews for the new commissioners, that the council will vote on it next Monday, and I will pass that along once we know. I was in touch with Kat regarding the climate subgroup of students that Kat is leading, and they are still working. I think with the busyness of the end of the year for student schedules, it looks like that will be continued into the summer. So we should expect an update from them like late summer, early fall. So just wanted to give that update.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, anything for our agenda for the next meeting?
Well, I have several things if we
Yes.
have the May agenda, and that is an report to the HRC from the Arts Center, who is the recipient of a grant to research on the needs of marginal communities and individuals with disabilities looking into programming. They wanted to introduce you to that and to get your input. The
Okay.
planning department wants to come with the rental registry ordinance, the draft, to get your input and give you an update. And, you know, I'm sure as we move more into the survey, there'll be more discussion on that. And then the retreat on the 24th. We will be checking for commissioner availability for the 11th, just to make sure that we could have that. The vice chair is gone, and I'm not sure the chair is back. So we will see. The only thing that is time sensitive is the rental registry, I believe. So I think we can just add that to the beginning of the retreat.
Okay. Let's see. All right, if we don't have anything else, then I guess it's time to adjourn the meeting. Thank you so much.